All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry about that. A couple minutes late, but I'm here. I am here early in the morning. It is 7 a.m. my time, right? So, people here in the U.S., good morning. Good morning. Everywhere else in the United States it's earlier than 7 a.m. right now. So shout out to all of my subscribers and followers from other parts of the world who tuning in. I wanted to deal with this article as a subject, and the article is exactly how you see the title of this stream. It's titled, "It is not a bad dog, it is bad training." Okay, where is that? Here's the article right here that I want to respond to. Now, I believe this journalist is in India. I believe it's an Indian in India, and I believe that they got their advice, the information that they put in here, they got it from a dog trainer. And I believe the dog trainer and the dog organization is in India as well. So this will give us some insight on how dog lovers and behaviorists from other parts of the world view dogs and dog attacks in general. But before I get to that, how many of y'all heard about this story that surfaced a couple days ago? Skull exposed in savage attack on toddler by a neighbor's dog. Skull exposed. Now, in this photo, you can clearly see an injury here, a scar here, and here. It looks like a U-shaped scar where you could simply pull this skin back. You could pull it back and you could see his skull. His skull would then be exposed. There looks like a massive piece of flesh that was ripped off this child's scalp. We're talking about creatures that are capable of scalping and skinning the victim. And these dog lovers want us to worry about kids attacking dogs? I still haven't gotten past that. How these people want to say that it's an epidemic. Children attacking dogs is an epidemic. Okay. Show me the dog sitting up in a hospital after having been scalped by a toddler. Until y'all can show me that, I don't have to accept this idea that children attacking dogs is a problem. No, I'm not going to view that as an epidemic or a problem that we need to worry about at all. While it may be true that some mass murderers earlier in their life were, demonstrated abuse towards animals, that might be true. That might be a pattern with serial killers. The problem is that we're not encountering hundreds and thousands of serial killers on shooting sprees every day. But with dog attacks, that's a daily thing. I shouldn't have to explain that. I feel bad for even pointing that out. All these dog lovers, they know that. And they want an entire school district to teach the students in their class that them attacking dogs is a problem in society. You can't make this up. We're actually teaching kids that one of the biggest problems in society is them attacking dogs. At the very least, they're trying to teach them that kids attacking dogs is a bigger problem in society than dogs attacking children. What is these people's sick obsession with children? What is it? Children don't even have to be involved in this dog nuttery. But they try to put kids at the forefront of dog culture. It is very sick, a very twisted culture. Now, what is going on in Ghaziabad? They just banned bully breeds. And this video just surfaced from Ghaziabad. Okay? Kids being chased by stray dogs. These dogs are not bully breeds. You know, what sense does it make to ban bully breeds as pets when you have stray dogs like this all over the community? And they just accept the presence of these dogs. It's almost like they don't understand how much of a menace these dogs are. It's like they don't quite understand it because they've been so used to it. They've been seeing it their whole life. At least that's what I would think, that they view it as a normal part of society. Dogs are, normal part, just like the birds in the sky. We accept that as a natural part of society, but this is not. Creatures that attack you on a daily basis like this, they don't deserve to live in your territory. Who's the superior animal? Dogs or humans? Humans. Who's attacking who? The dogs are attacking the humans. The inferior creatures attack the superior creatures. So those superior creatures need to get rid of the dogs. Simple as that. It is as simple as that. And this was another child who had been attacked in South Africa, where they banned bully breeds. Tell you, the work is not done. After you ban bully breeds, the work is not done. Now, I wanted to deal with those quick stories real quick because it helps to build up to this story. Good segue. Where they're trying to say that it's not a bad dog, it's bad training. They're trying to tackle the reason behind the increase in dog attacks. And this is how they approach it. So they fail right from the door. Before they even get started, they want to remove blame from the dog. Instead, blame the people. Can't make this up. It's not a bad dog, it's bad training. Well, no, it is a bad dog. If dogs need to be trained to not attack people, then they're naturally bad creatures. What are you talking about? Don't blame people. Don't blame people. Now let's deal with this. Now what is this? What is this? This was just randomly put into this article. What is this? Okay, I want y'all to look at this. Understand what you're looking at. This is an article about dog attacks. They're trying to explain why there's an increase in dog attacks. And they randomly put in this video, titled it all, "What a Cute Dog." So what does that tell you? That tells you this media outlet is coming from the perspective of a dog nutter. So you got to take whatever you read with a grain of salt. They're showing their bias already. You know, before we even get started, they're letting you know we're going to try to defend dogs. So I said you can't have dog lovers act as behaviorists. You can't be biased in a profession like this. Your job is to tell the truth, not to act as a defense lawyer for dogs. Get out of here. If you are going to act like a defense lawyer, then we need more people like me. People who are prosecuting attorneys. Dogs, and notice how they include the word pet before dog. This is the second time they've done it already in this article. Pet dog attacks. Grab headlines, blah, blah, blah. Now, the mother of this child, she said, dogs should not be brought into close spaces with small children. Strays should not be allowed to enter into societies. Oh, who does that sound like? That sounds like me. If strays are not allowed to enter into society, how do you pull that off? You got to exterminate them. See, there are some people over there in India, they are on code. Yusuf Mamba. I think he stays over there in I think India or Turkey or something. There are people over there who are crusaders, who know what needs to be done. They fully understand the threat that they're dealing with. And they understand what needs to be done to remove the threat. Strays should not be allowed in society. It's really that simple. And they go over the recent attacks that have taken place in that country. And then they ask, so what's going on here? Why are dogs attacking people at random? Is it climate change? Are all dogs just bad? Yes, they are. Are people keeping pets more often than not compared to previous times? The only pet they're talking about is dogs. Are people keeping dogs more often? It seems like it, yes. We went in search of an answer as well. As a dog lover, see, this is a problem right here. We don't want to hear from no dog lover. Do you understand that? You can forget about getting the truth from a dog lover. You're not going to get the truth. You're going to get lies, distortions of reality. As a dog lover, it was disheartening to see these awesome furry creatures, man's best friend for ages, demonized as heartless creatures. It was disheartening to see dogs demonized as heartless creatures. Nobody's demonized these things. This is a lie. This is why you can't have dog lovers act as professionals. Nobody demonized dogs. All we did was point out what the dogs did. What are they talking about? Nobody demonizes dogs. We need to. That's what I specialize. I specialize in demonizing them. But it's all warranted. They deserve it. I stick to the facts. Nobody demonized these mutants. They demonized themselves. They call attention to themselves as a menace. Don't try to blame people. Anything a dog does, dog lovers blame people. But if the dog does something that they like, they blame the dog. They give the dog the credit. Look at the good boy. To get the answers, they decided to visit Pet Academia, Alpha 11 Dog Training Center and Resort, where dog behaviorist Dilip and Vatika, what is this? Aluwala, however you pronounce that, gave us an insight into dog psychology and what was perhaps happening when it comes to the increase in dog attacks. No, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. More people own them, so you're going to have more attacks. Stop it. We all know how dogs are. This playing dumb, this is a profession in itself, playing dumb. Acting like they don't understand dogs. Let's get to the short answer first. Look at what they say. No, it's not that dogs are inherently bad. It is just bad dog training. No. If without dog training, the dog is violent, then that means the dog is inherently bad. What is it about that doesn't make sense? Why is it so hard for people to accept that? These dog lovers. Why can't they just admit to that? Don't talk to us about training, because look, we don't deal with this problem from other animals. We're not worried about deer attacks on humans. I mention deers a lot because in my area, in my part of the world, there are a lot of deer everywhere. There are deer everywhere where I live. But we never have to worry about being attacked by them. They never bother us. We got a lot of groundhogs in my area. They never bother us. We got several animals around here, skunk, everything. They never bother us. And guess what? We don't have to train them to not attack us. All that with no training. So don't tell me that dog aggression towards humans is human beings' fault. Don't tell me it's our fault. Does that make sense? Yes, they are inherently bad. You're wrong. Do you understand that? You're wrong. It is the dog's fault for being a dysfunctional, violent, brain-damaged, worthless mutant. It is the dog's fault. Even though the dog didn't ask to be born to be so worthless, it's still worthless. It's still aggressive, and it still needs to go. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Oh, it's not the dog's fault. Oh, deal with the human. No, get rid of the dogs. Because no amount of training can make these things harmless. Owners, it says, often don't understand what dog breed suit them in their house. So now there's reaching for excuses. Oh, the dog attack is the result of the family, the owner, not purchasing the correct breed. At what point do you silence these people and tell them to shut up? This is madness at this point. Bad dog behavior is often the result of lack of training by the owner. Okay, so lack of training. Okay, so what should the owner be training the dog? To not attack people? So what does that mean? That means you got a bad, dysfunctional creature from the door. They step on their own feet. with statements like everything that they say disproves something else that they've said previously. Bad dog behavior. And they're talking about aggression. Aggression in dogs is the result of the owner not training them. Okay. Dog owners, most of the time, don't try to understand a dog's world and try to fit dogs into a human world, skewing the relationship. Well, newsflash, all we as humans understand is our own world. We're not dogs. That's something that will never happen. We'll never understand how a dog's brain works. One of the reasons why they should be banned. That's exactly why we have no business trying to treat them like human family members. Okay, so thank you for that bit of information. Really an admission. These dog lovers, they admit all the time why these things should be banned. Dog training begins the moment you think of getting a dog. You need to ask a trainer what breed you should get. Well, I thought breed didn't matter. Y'all tell us not to focus on breed. Oh, don't blame the breed. All dogs are the same regardless of breed. You see, this is what happens when you're doing something you don't have no business. You're going to have a bunch of contradictions, a bunch of lies, illogical nonsense left and right. Getting the right breed. Pit bulls have become infamous as pets across India after one mauled its elderly owner to death. There have been several such cases, leading to places like Ghaziabad outright banning the breed as pets. Okay, so are pit bulls just aggressive? Impossible to tame dogs? Yeah, they are more aggressive than other dogs. They have a unique aggression. Yeah, it's real simple. It's not rocket science. They're trying to turn everything into rocket science. Impossible to tame? Yeah. No amount of training can produce a population full of harmless pit bulls. Now, it does not matter that some of them don't attack. The truth is, over half of all dogs bite someone throughout their life, at some point in their life. Let's stop playing dumb here. If over half of all people will be bitten by a dog before their 13th birthday, 50% of the U.S. population is bitten by a dog before their 13th birthday. If that's the case, rest assured, a good 50% or more of those dogs are doing the biting. The dog population is just about equal to the child population in the United States. And if most kids are bitten by the family dog, that means a good 50% or more of dogs are doing the biting. It makes sense. Specific breeds are meant to hunt dogs. They see a dog, there's a switch that goes off, and they attack. Now, this behaviorist is talking about bully breeds. Specifically about American Pit Bull Terrier, the one that was actually bred to fight other dogs. He said to hunt dogs, which is incorrect. Pit bulls were not bred to hunt other dogs. They were bred to fight other dogs. And this is another reason why they should be illegal. They've been bred to attack. And if a switch goes off when they see another dog, and they attack, this tells you why so many kids get attacked. Small kids, the dog is going to view the child same way it views another dog, an attack on sight. Dog Artito, blah, blah, blah. They talk about how these bully breeds were bred for fighting. Then there are guard dogs, such as German Shepherd, Doberman, blah, blah, blah. And look at this. Owners need to keep in mind the climate of the region. He's blaming the weather. He's blaming the weather. A vet told us he loves owners who keep St. Bernards, because as soon as summer begins, the dogs develop so many health issues and infections that the dog always stays with the vet. Do y'all hear that? Do you need any more proof that these things are abnormal mutants? If they're always with the vet, then how would their health be if we did not have vets? If we didn't have a whole industry that focuses on treating dogs, bringing them into good health? What if we didn't have that? These would be the most disease-ridden, and they still are, most disease-ridden creatures on earth, and they are still, even with the veterinarians. More proof that these things are not natural to this planet. A lot of cases, blah. Nowadays, humans pamper puppies a lot. Listen to this. He explains how in the initial few months of adopting a new puppy, people tend to treat the puppy same way they would treat a child, letting the puppy do whatever they please. Sleep on the bed, feeding the dog. Okay, what is that? Feeding, I guess this is a type of dog food right here. When the dog is a puppy, people let them sleep on the beds. People didn't say no to the puppy. But one day, suddenly, when the owners ask the dog to get off the bed, the dog becomes aggressive. He says this is because the dog thinks the bed is its territory. This is not the same as the dog coming up to curl up next to you on the bed or sofa when you invite it to. The behavior said it's totally fine if you invite the dog onto the bed or if it comes at your command, but the dog shouldn't just hop on the bed or sofa or any other place of its own volition. People, that's a red flag. That's more proof that these things should be banned. That further proves that in a worthless dog's mind, everything is about dominate or submission. Dominate or submission. Dogs are always in fight mode. Everything is either bully you or submit to bullying. That is a subhuman character. That's beneath us. And we have no business pretending that something this primitive, treating it as if it's a fellow human being. You can't even allow this thing on the same sofa as you because it will then view you as inferior and try to dominate you someday. These things are obsessed with violence, with attacking, and constantly being in physical competition with other living organisms. There's nothing loving about these things. People talking about how humans need to be more like dogs. These are very primitive brainless mutants. Owners start to give their pets labels of human relationships like children, siblings, etc. Okay? The behavior says dog owners make the most common mistake of seeing the dogs as their children, sister, daughter, etc. We've all come across very cute videos of girls tying, what is this, Rocky to their dogs. But dog behavior said this is wrong. Dogs live a simple life. Look at what he says. He says dogs understand only two relationships, leader and follower. There is no third relationship. That's exactly what I just said. They only understand leader and follower. In other words, they only understand being dominant or subordinate. That is subhuman behavior. That's a subhuman mentality that we have no business surrounding ourselves with. It amazes me how people don't feel disgusted acting and living life as if they are a dog, which is what these dog nutters do. They don't force the dog to live life like a human. They themselves start to live like a dog. The dog still licks their face. That's subhuman behavior. We don't go around licking other people's faces. Dogs still do everything that dogs do inside the home of people, turning people's homes into dog homes. And their rhetoric is based on being submissive to dogs. Look at what this behaviorist goes on to say. He gets into it. He said people who own dogs should try to fit themselves in a dog's world rather than vice versa. She explains how owners giving dogs human labels complicates behavioral training. And I've talked about this, how dangerous it is to refer to dogs as fur babies and yourself as some type of dog mom or dog dad, because you're going to naturally start to treat that dog just like you would a harmless baby or child. That's where the problem begins. These things are not harmless. What a reckless culture, man. Sometimes, look at this. Sometimes dog owners come to us all bitten and scratched, but they say it's okay. They're not angry because the dog is like a kid, and that's what kids do. No, typically kids don't just attack their parents. That's not something that kids just do naturally. What are you talking about? Don't try to put that behavior on us. Yeah. I used to be a kid myself. I was a kid for a long time. Guess what? I was not going around attacking adults. I was scared to death of adults. What are you talking about? Okay, so that was false. This attitude of owners towards their pet dogs is not only wrong, but also cruel. Dog owners may have observed that their dog is well behaved in the first 5 to 6 months before suddenly becoming more aggressive. The dog behaviorist says that's when puberty begins and behavior in the dog changes. Trouble begins when the dog, specifically a male, reaches 9 to 10 months of age. That's when testosterone production happens. Uh-oh. You know what that does? That minimizes the effectiveness of training. You spent 9 to 10 months training this mutt, and suddenly its hormones kick in. Now it has a whole new personality, specifically a higher level of aggression. So now all that training is really worthless. It's worthless. Now you're dealing with more of a real animal. And really, as a puppy, puppies spend a lot of time practicing killing and mutilating other organisms. All the playing that they do is really training itself to mutilate. They're naturally aggressive, violent by nature, and that's the root problem. If they were harmless, there would be nothing for me to talk about, except for how nasty they are. So let me take that back, because I can base this channel solely on how disgusting they are. All right, so I'll retract that. When guests come over, look at this. How should a dog behave with a stranger? Or when guests come over to your house? The behavior said a dog should have no business or interaction with a guest. Not even notice a stranger. This is usually peak dog training, which is difficult. This behavior, this trainer said that when you walk into the home of a dog lover, their dog should not walk up to you. For obvious reasons. I didn't even have to read the rest of this to know why he said that. Anything a dog does, the dog is going to view it as its dominance over you. If a dog is allowed to just walk up to you and start sniffing all over you, in the dog's mind, it views that as an act of dominance. Because when you try to do that to the dog, quite often, they'll attack you. They'll growl. Don't get too close to me. If they're with a toy, if they're with, in the dog's mind, the toy is a victim, a carcass. If they're with their food, they'll growl, they'll attack you. In fact, that's what they base their temperament test on. Getting close to dogs while the dog is eating. All dogs do this. You walk into the door, their dog violates you. This guy's saying it shouldn't happen. That it creates more dangerous and aggressive dogs. Okay. There are just too many opportunities. There are too many paths to aggression for me. He explained this to us in person. The German Shepherd and I were scared to enter the gate field. Such a large, highly active dog. Okay. Now, what is this? Is this a video? Yeah, it's a video. Ugh, man. Man, listen, I don't want nothing running around all the time, following me around all the time. I Hate Cars asked me to do a video on dogs following their owners around. And it's important to talk about because it's so weird. Who wants something following them around everywhere they go? Y'all know these things follow their owners into the bathrooms. They're all over the internet talking about it. These dog lovers are talking about it all over the internet. How their dog follow them everywhere they go, even into the bathroom. Okay, why do you want something like that? I mean, do you really get off on that? That make you feel special? That's sad. It's only following you because it's obsessed with food. It knows that you pull out food that's magically out of nowhere, and it's always ready to eat. No, I'm just a special, bubbly person, and the dog sees how wonderful I am. Okay. Despite us sweating cold bullets, the dogs were in fact on their best behavior. You'd expect blah, blah, blah. How guests should behave with pet dogs. Look at this. There's a misconception that guests can just go about petting a stranger's dog or calling them. He says no, they should not be doing this, especially with certain dog breeds like guard dogs or large dogs. He's saying you shouldn't just pet someone's dog. How about that? How about that? He says guests shouldn't even make eye contact with your dog, and they shouldn't pet them on the head. Listen to that. So, another guest should walk, if they come into your home, your guest needs to immediately start to submit to the dog. That's what you do when you submit. That's what dogs do when they submit to other dogs. They avoid eye contact. I've showed that many times. They avoid eye contact. That's a way of submitting. So this behavior is telling you, if you enter the home of a person with a dog, immediately you need to submit to that dog. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. And if it walks up to you, that's the dog's way of trying to dominate you, because it won't allow you to just walk up to it. Oh, you didn't approach it properly. Oh, you made it feel threatened. It took you approaching it as a threat. Everything is a threat with the dog, but the dog can do all of that stuff to you, and you expect it to accept it. Well, not no more. This behavior said a dog shouldn't even approach you. So if y'all walk into the home of a dog lover and that dog lover approaches you, walk right back out the door. Okay? We don't have to accept this. The more information we stumble upon, the more it tells us that we don't have to accept this dog culture behavior that has always annoyed us anyways. We've talked about this several times starting years ago. How annoying it is to walk into the home of a dog lover and the mutt just starts violating you. We've been talking about this for years. Lo and behold, behaviors tell you that it shouldn't happen. Okay, so what's the correct behavior? Ask the owner first if it's okay to pet the dog. How about no? How about no? How about that stupid? Stupid for you to want to pet something that you have to pet in a certain way, or else it'll attack you. And no matter where you touch the dog, even if you pet it on its side, like they suggest, it can still turn around and attack you. How about no? That's stupid. How about you stay out of the home? You run across a nutter with a dog inside the home? No, what you need to do is stay out of that home. That's the advice. Ask them if it's okay to pet this mutt, as if that's some type of benefit for you. You petting that dog does nothing for you. It don't do nothing for the dog either. It's a totally useless and pointless thing to do. So stop doing it. Stop doing stupid stuff that's unnecessary, that serves no purpose whatsoever. You petting this dog, this doesn't even reduce the chances that you will be attacked. He's telling you that right now. Telling you don't pet it on the head. Dogs hate it. And don't pet on the body. Jacqueline Duran, Brooklyn Curry was attacked as she was petting the dog. So there's no benefit whatsoever in petting dogs, so stop doing it. Stop acting like it's some type of honor or privilege to touch one of these nasty mutants that will most likely pass some type of filth on to you if you touch them anyways. These nutters. So you asked for permission. The owner says yes. They say pet the dog on the side of its body or give it belly rubs. Petting a dog on its head indicates a direct challenge in a dog body language and may be seen by a dog as an attack. He's saying this may be seen by a dog as an attack. And you got goofy, so-called supposedly intelligent beings. That's all they want to do. Anytime they go to pet a dog, they want to pet on the top of his head. You see why I rant on this channel? I'm sick of seeing people act dumb. I am demanding that you all use your brain. Use this wonderful brain that we've been blessed with. Stop discarding it. These people are operating against their own brain. That's a sin to the universe itself. Don't touch the dog at all. Okay? Our listeners, all the young folk listening to this, do not touch these people's dogs. Controlling a dog's space. Behavior said that dogs should be trained to be comfortable in a crate or a doghouse or in a room alone or in a room with the owner. Dogs establish, look at this. Dogs establish the leader-follower relationship by curtailing the follower dog's movement. Like I said, in the dog's mind, it's all about dominant or submission. Dominance or submission. There's no mutual relationship. It requires more intelligence to have a relationship with someone where neither is dominant or submissive. That takes more intelligence. Dogs only understand a parent-child relationship, which is instinct. It's all about either I'm tougher than you or I'm weaker than you. It's not mutual. And that's not something that should be seen as the face of friendship and love. That's the exact opposite of friendship and love. And really, this information proves that dogs can't love you. Love can't exist when you either have to be dominant over another or subordinate. Love is not based on intimidation and a threat of punishment. You can talk about this dog culture. I could talk about this for hours. I kid y'all not. I could talk about this for hours. There's so much that needs to be dealt with. So many misunderstandings. Armed with this information, do you think you are up for the job of being a dog owner? Doesn't take as much money to own a dog as it takes time, patience, and energy to keep up with the demands and needs of maintaining a dog. And to reiterate, it's never a bad dog. It's bad training. That is an ugly lie. Nothing good needs training. Animals that are good animals don't need training. You know what animals need training? Ones that are not good. The ones that are flawed, defective from the get-go. It's so funny how these nutters, they have no way of defending their lifestyle. They have no real solid defense of this lifestyle. They just take L's at every single turn. It's hilarious. Yeah, another behaviorist. Behaviorist strikes again. Yeah, exactly. Esmeralda in the chat room says, that's why I could never own a mutt. If I have to be cruel the whole time to not be mauled, no thanks. Y'all know how important that is? Why would I want a friendship where I need to be cruel and dominant all? That ain't no friendship. I don't want no friend that I have to be cruel towards, dominant towards, so that they don't rip my face off. Why would you even struggle to have a relationship like that anyways? What in the world makes that type of relationship desirable? Dog nutters, in a nutshell, why are you so crazy? Why? Why doesn't it exhaust you living this type of lifestyle? It just shows the human mind will adapt to anything, no matter how, and that's the downside of being a human being. We can adapt and become numb to anything. That's the case with these serial killers. They become numb to killing, and it's just like nothing to them. You get to the point where you're a Jeffrey Dahmer. You're keeping bodies in an apartment. You can smell the decomposing bodies, and it doesn't bother you. Got to be careful, man. So this is a very failed article. It's a failed narrative. This idea that there are no bad dogs, only bad owners. Y'all ramble on and on with this goofy, weak talking point. But the saddest part is that none of you recognize how silly it is. That's the shocking thing about it. None of you recognize how silly this is. This idea that there are no bad dogs, only bad trainers. So if you fail to train the dog, then the dog will be aggressive. But at the same time, you're telling me that the dog's aggression is my fault? Well, yeah, because you didn't train the aggression out of it. So because I didn't train the aggression out of it, that means it's not really a bad dog. By nature, it's not a bad dog. It's only aggressive because you're a bad human. You're a bad human. And why are you a bad human? Because you didn't train the bad behavior out of the dog. Make that make sense. There's no way possible for this narrative to make sense. No way to view it as acceptable or logical in no way whatsoever. And this especially is seen in the fact that we don't train other animals to not attack us. Look at this. Look at this cartoon. She holding a book up to the dog with chapter 1 written in it. That's basically what dog lovers have. You have a whole book, a whole encyclopedia, a whole library in your goofy mind about how, oh, there are no bad dogs, only bad trainers. No, people are starting to wake up to this con game. You're not going to blame people for something that they didn't do. So when other animals attack, is that our fault as well? Here recently, somebody was attacked by a mountain lion. Is that our fault too? For not training the mountain lion? Training the aggression out of the mountain lion? Y'all notice how they go on about this training this, training that? But some of these people, they train their dog. In the dog's mind, they're the leader. The human is the leader, not the dog, because they've trained the dog so well. They've slapped it around. They've kicked it around, beaten on it. They've installed fear, instilled fear into the dog. The dog fears them. The dog will never attack them. Well, guess what? That same dog will attack someone else. Where's the training for that? Okay, you've told people how to train dogs so it won't attack you. And they'll still attack you, mind you. Even if you are the alpha, they'll still attack you. Okay, so how do you stop them from attacking other people? They don't even have training advice for that. They figure if you're the leader in the dog's mind, then you can just say down or here and the dog is going to listen to you. That's not the case at all. So this is an example of this voluntary stupidity. These people volunteering to work against their own intelligence. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Man, oh man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Notice how it's everybody's fault. They decided in this article to talk about the increase in dog attacks. So what do they talk about? People. When they make articles, they want to talk about dog attacks on children. What do they want to talk about? Children's behavior. No matter what dysfunction in dogs you deal with, they're going to tell you that it's somebody else's fault. It's not the dog's fault. So that's their way of protecting dogs in society. You can't get rid of dogs because nothing that they do is their own fault. They made it so you can't even refer to dogs as a problem in society. Every problem you mention, they are trying to say that it's somebody else's fault. Oh, your dog mutilated a child. Well, the child was provoking it. Oh, your dog attacked someone. Oh, you didn't train the dog to not attack someone. And we actually fallen for this. I don't particularly blame the dog nutters for putting this propaganda out. But you don't have to be dumb enough to believe it. You don't have to co-sign it. Man. Yeah, this is very corny stuff. The dog world in general is a scary place. It's very Twilight Zone-ish. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it boils down to. Dave C. The only crime is owning the dog. Something this problematic, something that is this troubled and difficult to control, that means you shouldn't be in possession of it. What do you need? A whole book, a whole library? Just how to keep it from attacking people. It's embarrassing. Oh, yeah. You know, after reading all this stuff from the behaviorists where they tell you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, look out for that. All of this stuff, it should overwhelm potential dog owners. Like, why don't you read this stuff and say, my God, I don't want to have to do all of this. This is too much. This is more than being a parent. You know how a lot of dog lovers, they say, well, I want a dog, because being a parent, it takes too much. No, this takes too much. I don't know what y'all talking about. This is way, and if you get it wrong, the dog attacks you, rips your face off. Well, if I don't properly teach a 2-year-old, yeah, they may misbehave, knock something over or break something. They're not going to rip my throat out. That's an acceptable price to pay for in your mind, dog lovers? You don't train it right. Well, what's the price to pay if you don't train it right? Well, it'll rip your face off, or it'll rip off the face of one of your kids, your husband, wife. Oh, that's acceptable. Let's get a doggy. Really? I feel like I came from a relatively sane era in this country, and I refuse to submit to this new, zoinked out, thoughtless, brainless, unintelligent era that we have here, trying to push stupidity off as some type of desirable character or trait in human beings. It is not. There ain't nothing cute, sexy, or attractive about doing dumb things. Intelligence is attractive. Intelligence is sexy. Right? You can keep the dogs, keep the dog culture. Yeah, I read that story too here recently. Dogs are always attacking some animals. They attacked a group of penguins just a few days ago. Ducks, llama. And just like with people, they attack them for sport. They never eat them. They never eat them. It's always for sport. Is there a way to train that out of dogs as well? Where's the training so the dogs won't go around attacking other animals? Everything requires training. Well, look, I don't want nothing that's deadly that I have to train to not attack. If you want to call me unintelligent because of that, hey, knock yourself out. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this morning live stream. And I will most likely be back a lot sooner than later, probably a little later on today. And I hope you all are able to join me as we continue with this crusade.